Since 2020, Gong's series of ink works on silk, titled Metamorphosis, has been exhibited at various venues, including the Udong Museum, the University of California, and the Art Museum of South China Normal University.
2024年6月下旬，龚岳斌意象水墨展在华南师范大学美术学院美术馆举行，展出了旅美艺术家龚岳斌自2020年以来创作至今的巨幅卷本水墨系列画生10余件。同时展出的还有文献资料和早期作品影像，串联起龚岳斌几十年如一日的在创作中对人与自然、社会与个人的关系的思考。
我02年到加州，然后先后读了几年书，然后就开始创作。那实际我去的时候，这个美院的老师都送给我几刀宣纸、毛笔，是吧？但是我开始搞创作的时候，感觉这宣纸、毛笔用不上，可能是在新的语境、新的文化，我就感觉我满脑袋的冲动，但是就找不到和这个宣纸、毛笔能表达的这个媒介，好像中间这个隔开了。那有一个突然间一个契机吧，在美国第一批作品是这个，就是当代装置艺术，叫 Large Crossroad， 就是用一些烧焦的木头啊，在雪山上烧焦的木头，的一个作品啊。我现在回想起来，那些作品基本上还是以西方艺术标杆的为准，在表达我自己啊。对人类或者对人性美学，或者对我的经历的一个回顾或者表述吧，基本都是悬挂式的，因为我就想让它体现东方艺术的这种玄妙、这种飘逸、这种空灵，尤其是它的一种作品的通透感。所以就像我们打太极拳，用气不用力，就是这种阴阳互济，这可能是我认为这种方式，再加上微风吹着，它能漂浮着，这可能是东方最高的一种境界吧。
2013年，龚岳斌在完成了又一次个展后，身体状况急转直下。在这时，他选择了回到祖国，从西藏走到了武当，完成了一次自我的救赎和蜕变。
中国人就是很怪，他就是血统里边流的是什么血，他走多远，最后还是会回来这个血，这个一点不夸张。所以我也不知道为什么就跑到武当山。按我的性格，我应该不喜欢太极拳，但偏偏就喜欢了。现在实际是我任何的话，明眼人都能看出来他的太极的痕迹。首先把这个中国画的这种所谓的技巧，我们先把它扔掉。就像中国说呀，这个书法不是绘画书缘，什么书画同源，要有笔上的功夫。感觉这是一条路，但它不是全部的路。孩子们没有什么机会来用到毛笔。我说呀，我能否给这种中国的新生代闯出一条新的门槛，不需要传统概念里边的基本功。我就能不能给孩子们一个轻松玩的一个路？所以说，可能我就开始摸索，首先是去掉笔，我看看能不能出现达到古人这种神韵。说为什么我就这个选择了中国最古老的手工的绢。另外呢，我的元素用的就是粘手可待的东西，全是大自然，所有人一片树叶，一棵树枝，一根竹子，甚至说一个麦秆，通通都是我的这个素材。并且呢，我又不局限于必须室内台面有的粘什么的，我的画80%都是在山上完成的。大海边呀，什么小溪旁什么。美院的那个罗院长，他说呀，我就想让你教孩子们就知道这个创作的过程是怎么回事所以这所以下我刚补上的。 蔡元培去世的时候的遗嘱就是4个字嘛啊，科学美育，是吧？我想他的美育的意思，一定包含了这个大众对美的审思，对美的觉醒。我相信蔡元培一定不是说让大家去练梅兰竹菊，让大家去，我想肯定不是这个意思。
他的作品呢，就是一直可以看得出来，他一个延伸嘛，就是从学院到他对就写实的到了这一部分的一种写意或者是抽象，它更多的我觉得这批作品呢，就是对一些绘画精神的一种回归所以说他的艺术创作的这个经历呢是比较纯粹的，都是可以看的是从一种很具象的慢慢到一种写意的或者一些表现性的但是他始终就是比较关注的就是水墨在这个画面上面所呈现的出来一种精神的反应。
10 years ago, Gong traveled to Udong Mountain to study martial arts and calligraphy while engaging in spiritual cultivation and appreciating the natural scenery. He integrates Taoist philosophy into his ink works, replacing traditional rice paper with silk, which diminishes the emphasis on technique and skill in classical ink painting. His Taiji ink art carries a symbolic fragility, echoing the tranquil and carefree thoughts found in Lao Tzu and Zhuangzi. Through experimentation with his ink art, Gong seeks to peel away the surface and limitations of traditional ink painting, deeply exploring the soul and spirit of Chinese ink tradition. In doing so, he strives to create a key that suits the new generation of Chinese artists, while also highlighting the unique advantages that differentiate it from Western art. This results in an artistic context that feels ethereal and elusive, embodying elements that seem form-like yet abstract, spiritual yet corporeal. If Western art leans toward tension and weight, Gong's art returns to the source of Chinese artistic essence, the spirit of painting. His silk ink creations do not adhere to traditional notions of brush techniques and styles. Instead, they rely on his unique inner imagination and sensitive perception of the ever-changing natural world, utilizing the intangible qualities of water and ink, along with the almost transparent delicacy of silk. The combination of these ancient elements allows for limitless creative spaces, on mountains, by the sea, in fields or by streams, merging with nature as it is. This series of inkworks represents a relationship of inheriting and developing traditional brush and ink practices, reflecting an update and iteration of traditional Chinese painting in a contemporary context. The traces of ink, intense, ethereal, empty, oppressive, mountainous, flowing, sharp yet gentle, come from various perspectives and transform into particular emotions, sensations, and experiences. Materials such as iron wires, ocean waves, water mist, flames, and plants participate directly or indirectly in the creation of these paintings, where ink no longer plays the leading role, but instead documents these actions, serving as the developing liquid for various materials. Here, the phantom of traditional brush and ink, which has lingered over traditional Chinese painting for centuries, is dispelled, allowing the essence of the materials themselves to be more fully revealed. Additionally, the spirit, liberated from the constraints of brush and ink, flourishes. The effects of ink resonate with nature, inheriting the vitality of spirit from traditional ink painting, while also transforming into a new artistic paradigm aligned with the natural world. I cannot imagine myself creating impressive works with a brush as I did years ago. To do so would feel like a desecration of my present self, for it is out of tune with the moment. Unconstrained by technical methods and untethered from tradition, this is Gong's destiny in his later years. Transformation is a change of inner quality. In the I Ching, it is stated, "Heaven and earth interact, and all things take form." Transformation mimics nature, with humans rising from their ignorance. This encapsulates Gong's new perspective on life, art, and ink. Whether practicing Taoism on Wudong Mountain or navigating the ebb and flow of Eastern and Western cultures over decades, Gong has expressed his views on life and art in each stroke of ink on silk. Perhaps he does not place great emphasis on what we may glean from his individual works. To him, these are merely a fraction of his life's journey. For the viewer, the question remains, do we understand the difference between existence and life behind the story? The interplay of existence and non-existence, the ease and difficulty of creation and life and transformation all ultimately lead to the same destination. Ink allows the world to go from nothing to something. Water allows the world to go back to nothingness. One yang and one yin, water and ink blending together over intertwined people and the world. Is it mountain, people, cloud, water, soul, love? If it is already one, there is no more reason to be perturbed. With inkwash, Gong Yubin utilized his perspective straddling both east and west to express the entanglement between physical traces and mirages of the spirit. In the midst of creating an Eastern reminiscence and dialogue of yin and yang, the clash between controlled and uncontrolled elements forged the shapes of ink, the formlessness of water, and the borderlessness of soul. This is meaningful to the subversion and inheritance of the traditional ink world. It leads to the return of the ancient Chinese philosophical concept of eternal kind as water, chaotic mystery. Wash away the elegance, the dependency. Those that are left are the classics. Whether it is modern installations or a contemporary ink show, I always come to visit Gong's exhibitions to experience new and creative atmospheres. Life and love, mystery, and flow has forged the unique language that is Gong's art. In the pre-show of Life and Love, I could see Gong's pursuit of art is going beyond the boundary of the frame. The pink painting on silk is traditional Chinese material, but the technique and effect has differed greatly. When you stand in front of his work, it seems you could be melted. Is it Tai Chi? Characters? By brushes? By water? It is difficult to discern the elements, structure, and techniques. It is hard to identify the relationship with the paintings. Gong's work is like a mirror, close and far. You could be inside or outside of the mirror, hidden from plain sight. As a person from the East, his softness walked him far and made him determined. Water flowing through brushes, loose and tight. His unique experiences and perspectives successfully expressed the best of both worlds, personality and creativity. The body of work you are developing could go further. For example, you may find that your retreat practicing Tai Chi is a form of nurturing your health. In this aspect, one of the paintings offers some reflection, but the intention did not reach the level to reflect the intention of the artist or demand the attention of the viewers. With interpretation from my imagination, the images of many of your paintings which are more than 5 feet high, organic shapes created by ambiguous marks from the fluidity of running ink that one could read as an amniotic sac where the developing baby resides for 9 months. It is the most protective and nurturing place for the beginning of a human life. It is the best time in life where one has no worries and no fears. It could be a metaphor of you returning to live inside the womb again, to be regenerated, recharged, to regain good health and love. I am the only one there. Peaceful, spaciousness and beauty in space. Mostly still, some slight motion. Walking around them, seeing them disappear into lines when sideways, then re-emerge. The placement reminded me of the Life's Crossroad exhibit. Seeing things, nature, mountains, waves, a human body, animals. My favorites were the left 2 on the back wall, wilderness and vertiginous mountains, but after a while, something ominous. The tops like mushroom-shaped clouds, a sense of impermanence and even danger. At this point, a connection to Gong's past works became stronger. My favorite changed to the one at the front, like an old found manuscript whose ink had run and deteriorated over time. The larger shape in the middle where the ink ran as time passed and dampness and wetness entered, but also something architectural, a picture of something lost, a picture of a building, of a human endeavor. I love the depth, impermanence and fragility in the material itself as well as in the depiction. And like the trees, something beautiful, not entirely gone, but transformed into a relic, a gesture remaining of something lost. My second favorite became the one on the back wall, far right, this tiny human hut in the vast and dangerous world around it. It was comforting because true. Life, us, we are fragile. This dark side of the work is what made me love it and not just like it. When I think of nations, though, it was ominous, yet playful and funny. I loved it. The terracotta warriors, very explicit about eternal human destruction and suffering, and the scrolls, a different approach but a similar theme, showing beauty and decay at the same time. The trees, still strong and black, the scrolls, thin and fleeting, but the same message. In prior years, Gong's works reached back into history and looked forward into the future. His intention was to create a way that could be charted to lead away from suffering to happiness and peace. The projects and installations have garnered accolades, celebrated by the critics and the press. After such notable success, Gong decided to change direction. He names this change Calm in Ink. These works of ink mark his turning inward to a realm where he could contemplate his art and his heart. In contemplating life and fate, I want to reflect upon myself. However, at the end, I can only simply say, so it is. March 12, 2012, my 4th project series, Site 2801, was premiered at the Crocker Art Museum. The media report was broadcast on PBS NewsHour nationally. Recognition certificates from a congressman, a state senator, a county supervisor, and the mayor were presented to me at the opening. Half of my works were collected or purchased. At this time, as an artist with such achievement, I should have been proud of myself and excited. Surprisingly, I wasn't. I was reminded of one pure and innocent moment when I first came to this country, with fresh eyes and a blank mind. The applause drew me back to my childhood when I indulged in communicating with my 16 peach trees and the small hill where the trees were located. The most exciting moment was not hearing the applause, but when I was preparing for a new journey. I knew it was time I should turn inward to contemplate my life and my art. Ink and water, a cup of tea should be what I need. During the time in America, I might be considered as famous or successful, but rarely had a close relationship with ink. Not connected with it for a while, I felt something was missing. At this time, I know I have ink with me and that I can use it to express my art and my life. Along the time, there is sadness and there is happiness. Anyhow, I'm happy whenever I work. Calm in ink. All flourishing past has passed. What's left is the slight fragrance of my ink. So it is. This exhibition, Tao Non-Tao, consists of 2 series of works. Combining 2 series, Tai Chi Impressions and Heavenly Ask, in one exhibition, I'm creating a brainstorm between Eastern and Western culture, overarching time and space, in order to arouse awareness of our human beings' love for our nature. I'm bound to using Tai Chi ink painting to reveal the human primitive philosophy, natural law and principles, and balance of yin and yang. Life's crossroad. See the beauty of Mother Earth disappearing. Hear the voice of freedom fading. Witness the spirit of mind suffering. How much more natural resource has to be exhausted? How many more people have to be sacrificed? How many more souls have to be destroyed? We are one with all on this planet. The inspiration for Life's Crossroad rose from Gong Yubin's childhood dream for life with dignity and respect. Life devoid of love and compassion drove Gong to bond with nature, and 16 peach trees, his playmates, consoled his loneliness. When the political movement was over, Gong grew into adulthood and returned to city life. In the early 1980s, after graduating from an art college, he moved to southern China, where rapid economic growth brought more freedom and personal choice in life. Gong transformed himself from an academic into an accomplished commercial art designer. In 2003, after recovering from a serious illness, he resolved to retire and move to America to rediscover himself and his art. In Life's Crossroad, he simply wishes to express his affection and love for life. As an artist, he does not want to impose any ideology on his audience. He would just like his artworks to provide a key to your own heart. Once you have the key, you are able to open a window of life of your own.
For most of us, the blackened landscape and charred trees from a forest fire is not what we would call beautiful, but for one local artist, that view was actually the inspiration for a rather unusual exhibit. Gong Yubin was driving to Lake Tahoe 3 years ago when he noticed burnt tree stumps rising from the snow. They're all that remained from the Angora fire in 2007. He instantly knew that these stumps were the perfect material for a project entitled Life's Crossroad. The stumps represent people and continents and serve as a reminder to preserve Mother Earth.
I just wanted to create a conversation between human life and the earth resource, between life and death. So I just remind people very careful thinking about now and the future.
The Gong Studio is on 20th Street in Midtown Sacramento.
Out a new art show live in Sacramento this morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. And all the implements from this art show are based off of a fire that happened more than a decade ago. Stick around. We're going to introduce you to a local artist and show you what he has done from some wood from South Lake Tahoe.
Fortunately not. But it's an art gallery like Sacramento has never seen before. The artist has taken his love for nature and combined it with his artistic creativity.
Miss Courtney Dempsey's checking out Life's Crossroad Art Show in Midtown Sacramento. Court, hi.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, and you actually can come check this art show out yourself. They're having an opening this later on this evening. But take a look at this wood behind it. I want you to know this whole exhibit is lit by black light, just to kind of emphasize. I know, it's very cool. Just to kind of emphasize what the artist is trying to portray in this whole situation. Now, the wood itself actually comes from South Lake Tahoe, the forest there, after a fire that happened in 1992. And Mr. Gong is over here. He's the actual artist of this. This is an amazing exhibit, first off, the fact that you even were able to use the wood and resource it that way. But your whole idea is to kind of let people know, you know, this is your connection to the planet and the connection to each other, right?
Yeah, so I just wanted to create a conversation between human life and the earth resource, and life and death, you know, in this world. in the future, a lot of problems come out. I think it's just a creative message for people, pay attention for our living world and for good future.
Okay, so for people to pay attention and also, to make sure that they're paying attention to the future. So we're going to take another look over here at this piece, and this is all set in different phases. So, for example, that's the third phase of this
that phase is so spirit.
Okay, and you were explaining the 7 pillars, or the upstanding pieces. Those kind of represent the continents.
Like 7 continents. So around Earth resource and human brain.
And that's what that centerpiece would be. That would be the human brain.
You're right. Centerpiece that's thinking like human brain.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so this is basically how we're all connected. No matter where we live on the planet, we're all connected to the Earth's resources, and we need to think about the future as to how we're using the resources.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
So now, when you actually found this wood, you said you were on a ski trip with your son, and you had to cancel the trip when you saw this wood on your way up to Tahoe.
Yeah, so that is in 2006. I drive to Lake Tahoe with my son and my wife to ski in Lake Tahoe. But immediately I found in my left side the mountain. Wow, so whole mountain was silver was covered, but I found several pieces like a black trunk standing there. So I found, oh, that is not a tree, it's a human.
Right.
It's a human body standing there. So they really want to talk with people.
And that was your basic inspiration.
Yeah, you're right.
Fantastic. So again, coming out of the destruction of a fire that severe, that's where this work came from. So you can come.
Gong Yubin visited the Department of Art at California State University, Sacramento in March 2011 after he exhibited Life's Crossroad at his studio in town. In a communication, I invited him to share his work in our gallery and campus where more people would be able to see it. Within a month, we were able to install his work at Sacramento State. The art department gallery became the setting for his Life's Crossroad and spilled out into the adjacent courtyard and breezeway. In the courtyard, one could see the monumental remains of charred tree trunks. In the gallery, one could see several different groupings of charred trunks under black light. Iridescent red paint highlighted areas of the trunks, suggesting burning embers or dripping blood. In the breezeway, more tree trunks were cordoned off with black chain link fencing. Gong's work is obviously about the human condition. He wants us to think about what we have done, what we are doing, and what results our actions could have. We here at the Department of Art are most happy to have hosted such thought-provoking work. It is not a burnt trunk, Gong said. That is a human body standing there wanting to talk with us. That is the perfect material to explain what I want. Senior business management major Mike Archibald volunteered to assist Gong. He said Gong clearly knew exactly how he wanted the finished product to look, but he was also great at thinking on his feet. Besides having only 30 minutes of sleep that day, Archibald said, it was a really cool experience, so I'm glad I did it. Finally, I can do one thing about the dreams of my childhood. My first art series, Life's Crossroad. The 16 peach trees in my backyard were my little childhood buddies that kept me company. One day, some people forced their way in and cut down all the peach trees. They said they needed the wood to make bricks. I cried my heart out an entire day. My mother was so worried that she promised to plant 16 new peach trees the next spring. When the spring came, we did plant 16 new peach trees. I made small fences around them and painted great colors on them. I watched the baby peach trees grow and saw them smile. Then I realized that I had grown up, and they were still children. Although I have immigrated to the U.S. and the trees in my front and backyards are looking good, just like my childhood peach orchard, I cannot erase the memories of my childhood and have never stopped longing. How can I forget what I have seen and heard? It is easy to express well wishes. It is hard to defeat evil and crime. If I could, I must use my life to exclaim, to wake up the rest of us, and for the countless lives already perished. Gong's work, Black Hole, or, as he explained it, that is not transparent white drape. They are frames of greed, naked in front of nature. It could mean something completely different to each person. Although some students said they could not understand what Gong meant to say with black hole, its significance was not lost on all. Julieta Lopez, a student from Cosumnes River College, stopped by the exhibit after leaving another event in the Union. She said she did not hear Gong explain the installation, but she got a definite impression from it. I thought it was kind of symbolic of life, Lopez said. Like you were born into the world, and it is kind of like a maze to get out. In my third project, Black Hole, I hope to use new visual expression to invite the audience to join me in thinking and discovering the origin, process, and the result of mankind's destruction of balance and order in our life, that is the black hole. The greatest tragedy is that we seem to be unaware of the black holes we have created. I earnestly hope we can resist falling into them. Only through discovery of our lost path can we begin to restore our lives to goodness, order, balance, and the purity of water. The journey of black hole should start now. I owe much gratitude to the driftwoods I collected on the Pacific Northwest coast. Their weathered bodies were like scattered white bones among the shore debris, their eyes staring with flickering life. Their pleas for attention touched my heart. As I embraced their decomposed and unique bodies, each shaped by the churning erosion of sun, wind, waves, and sand, I marvel at their endurance of harsh conditions. While their frail remains appear now to lack weight and substance, they reveal toughness in character in the adversities of time and change. Each piece conveys a vital history of its past, home of origin, background and upbringing, heritage, life encounters, and ultimately, death and demise. They were all at one time citizens of nations. I'm compelled to breathe life back into them through my art. This installation is my homage to them. May they find a renewed sense of order and belonging.
This is Gong Yubin's latest and perhaps most profound work to date. Site 2801, 200 terracotta soldiers similar to those commissioned by China's powerful first emperor 2,000 years ago. The majority of these warriors are from a long ago era, yet there are modern signs of war as well. 10 contemporary soldiers and 4 nuclear bombs with 4 infants inside, covered in blood. The opening of this powerful exhibit at the Crocker Art Museum March 10th was significant in many ways. It was the first time a local contemporary Chinese artist was invited to show at the Crocker. And the fact that it was there at all is also notable. The museum was booked almost through 2014, and getting a show on the schedule was going to be difficult. Gong met with the curator, and everything changed.
And I said, we really have to do this. It became very clear that we have to do this.
With that commitment, Gong's work began in earnest through all hours of the day and night, creating and recreating, changing and fine-tuning this archaeological dig, which represents the juxtaposition of past and future, war and peace, life and death.
For my work, so similar like a woman, like a birth baby, so need a long time to think about.
At the opening, dignitaries brought proclamations to honor the man whose work is bringing artistic and historical significance to the community. Proclamations from Congressman Dan Lundgren's office, the State Senate, the California Arts Council, Sacramento State Art Department, Sacramento County, and the Sacramento City Unified School District.
I'm new to America. I hope my art can make a little different of art vision and thought to this country for my different experience journey in my life.
The importance of art in the human experience is perhaps best measured by the reactions of people who see it and feel it themselves. On this day, most were taken by the impact of the exhibit, giving them an opportunity to discern exactly what the artist was trying to convey.
I think it's magnificent in the sense that it has so much emotion. It has the daunting and haunting effect of the missiles and the people who are just facing in a certain direction. And there's some type of mysticism, at least I think, to me.
When you see it en masse like this, it's overwhelming and very moving.
This is remarkable. I've never seen anything like it.
I'm overwhelmed by it.
It's very ambitious and profound. So ambitious, I'm in awe. I really am.
It speaks to me about the nature of war, how it has been with us, probably always will be.
I could sit here and stare at this all day long.
His concept of the way the world's going is pretty right on, but he wants to kind of slow it down to where we can really appreciate life.
The exhibit at the Crocker Art Museum runs through April 29th.
Soldiers together. I don't know if you want to speak. You want to come down? Come down, speak. Thank
you so much for everyone. I have been very painful while whole process for this project. My different experience journey in my life. I hope my art can contribute our social harmony and stability through the stage of Crocker Art Museum.
And to the story of an artist who uses the past to create an archaeological dig of the future. NewsHour correspondent Spencer Michaels explains.
Half a mile from California's state capitol, in a storefront studio in Sacramento, a 52-year-old artist from China has replicated 2,200-year-old warriors discovered in an ancient tomb. Gong Bin, who came to the U.S. in 2004 speaking no English, has fashioned an exhibition that uses the past to comment on the future.
Project I have been thinking from my childhood experience until now. Now I'm standing in the world stage.
He lived through China's Cultural Revolution when his own family was ordered to the countryside. They had little food and lived in fear as the government cracked down on intellectuals and political opponents. Gong survived and eventually went to an art academy where he produced traditional paintings on silk. But his life experiences had instilled in him a desire to go beyond the expected. Today he is using his own newly created army of terracotta soldiers to make social commentary on war and greed and government.
People kill other, and then comes revenge, and this goes on forever. Desire and greed from those in control, that is big problem.
All that translated into plans and models for the creation of 210 terracotta soldiers, most of them, but not all, very similar to the ancient warriors. Gong took his idea to Sacramento's Crocker Art Museum, the oldest museum in the West, and pitched it to Scott Shields, chief curator.
I went over and I saw what he was doing. I thought, we have to show this piece. The first thing that really interested me in this piece was the sheer scale of it and the ambition behind it. It's a huge undertaking.
It took a year to mold the soldiers and have them manufactured, somewhat ironically, in China. Today the exhibit is housed in the ballroom of the Crocker Gallery, and it's a striking image and a bit of a puzzle. 200 warriors from the past and 10 modern soldiers hidden among them, with dilapidated nuclear missiles cradling newborn babies carried on high by the entire troop.
I think it's about empire building, and it's about man's inhumanity to man, and I think that that's all part of what he's trying to say, is that, look, 2,200 years have gone by, and we haven't changed all that much, and we need to do better.
Gong's idea is that 800 years from now, archaeologists will unearth the soldiers made from clay dug from the same mountain as the ancient warriors and try to learn about the past from them.
By titling the piece Site 2801, he wants us to stand from the vantage point of the future and look to the past, and the past being our present.
The past is very much a part of Chinese art, according to Pat Chiravapati, Associate Professor of Asian Art at Sacramento State University, who greatly admires Gong Yubin's work.
You know, traditional Chinese way of learning is to copy the past. So if you want to be a painter, you started painting bamboo until you become one with bamboo. You copy the old master, and then gradually you would add your own style onto it. So I think Yubin did what traditional Chinese supposed to do, is to copy the past and project the new symbols, is to represent so many generations of power, the control of people.
In the new work, the babies housed in the missiles represent hope, but she says the new exhibit is more complex than a simple anti-war, anti-greed message.
I think it's more like a conceptual art. You know, he sells his concept by the use of previous symbols that we kind of know. So once you look at it, you know, but at the same time you don't know, because you try to figure it out what he's trying to say.
At gatherings like this talk from museum docents, Gong is often asked what his display says and how his own background shapes what he is trying to convey.
Baby symbolize hope.
But for all the interpretations, it's the visual experience of seeing Yubin Gong's work displayed at full force that leaves the most lasting impression, even for art teacher Pat Chiravapati.
The first thing I said to myself was, wow, this is beautiful.
Site 2801 remains at the Crocker Museum through April.
Spencer has more on the Site 2801 exhibit and other large-scale works by artist Gong Yubin in a blog post on our website.
Gong created his first monumental installation in 2010, which he entitled Life's Crossroad. Haunting and visionary, the piece was composed of dozens of burnt-out tree trunks, which he had reclaimed from the Sierra after a forest fire. Using their charred and craggy remains to analogize the human condition, Gong then enhanced the trunks and branches with chains and phosphorescent red paint. Displayed under black light, the remains glowed like burning embers, confronting viewers as they appeared to burn. The result, Gong hoped, would make the viewers ponder shared values related to life and death. Site 2801 is Gong Yubin's second monumental project. In this massive installation, viewers are asked to become archaeologists of the future by confronting an incongruous and satirical juxtaposition of humanity's past and present. Terracotta warriors from China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, 259 to 210 BCE, are displayed rank by rank, having been unearthed in a site that not only includes historical warriors, but modern combat troops and nuclear missiles. To replicate the historic warriors and also create new present-day soldiers, Yubin returned to his inspirational source. The clay he used is from an ancient site in Lishan Mountain, Xi'an, China, where Qin Shi Huang's famous terracotta army was excavated. Using the original warriors as models, he maintained their costumes, but adjusted facial expressions and poses for this project, as well as adding the contemporary soldiers, missiles, and newborns. In total, there are 200 historic warriors and 10 contemporary soldiers in Gong's army. Each one is fired at 1800 degrees and finished just as they were in antiquity. The missiles and newborns, however, are made of fiberglass, a contemporary material for a contemporary theme. Gong therefore asks not that we contemplate our behavior for ourselves, but from the perspective of our children's children. By looking at the past from a vantage point in the future, Yubin hopes that all who see his work might be held more accountable in the present. Site 2801, a massive sculpture, is a result of those years, Gong said. The title refers to a time nearly 800 years from now when archaeologists might dig up his terracotta soldiers to learn about the past, our present. Interspersed with them are 10 modern soldiers with distinct helmets and uniforms who seem to indicate that war and militarism haven't changed much in 2,000 years. There's an anti-war, anti-militarism theme to Site 2801, but there's also beauty. and a hearkening back to the past. Crocker Art Museum curator Scott Shields said he was taken with Gong's ambition in his vision for Site 2801. I think the first thing that really interested me in this piece was the sheer scale of it. It's a huge undertaking. For one person to take it on was really inspiring to me because I love an artist that works really hard, and he does, he said. Shields said that by including the contemporary soldiers amid the historic warriors, Gong forces us to look at ourselves.
I used different elements from different periods, 200 terracotta soldiers, and from one of powerful empire tomb 2,000 years ago. And this is contemporary soldiers for a nuclear bomb with infant baby inside. I hope that the viewer become a future archaeologist to confront absurd and satirical juxtaposition for past and future. Also, it takes the viewer through a journey that crosses time and emotion to think about the world and their option. Can be represent life transformation through millennia of human history and explore a crucial question regarding life, suffering, and death. For I believe there is still time to make change.
And so when you are actually in the process of doing your art, how does that feel?
You know, most artists like say, oh, art is for fun, but it is not true for me. I feel very painful. The reason is I have different experience from childhood until now. So in my art, I don't want to block my mind like traditional art or landscape or portrait or I'm Chinese or one place or one style. I just want to make my foundation is little big and strongly to focus. I love topic about humanity, and it is nature.
And so, how does this contribute to helping local artists?
You know, I'm new to America, especially my language is too limited. So, 2010, when News 10, the report asked me, hey, Gong, your language is so limited. How to creative is huge project here. So what's the reason? I said, oh, probably the main reason is for my language. I'm not able talking well, but I can thinking is very deeply and profoundly. So I hope my art can make different of art vision and thought to this country through my different experience journey in my life. I hope my art can contribute to the social harmony and the stability through the stage of Crocker Art Museum.
Well, it's such an honor to have this piece here, and it's a piece that almost didn't happen in this location or even in this museum. When I first met Gong, I went to see his Life's Crossroads series, which was really pretty incredible. And then a few months later, he calls and he says, I'm working on something else. Would you be interested in coming over to see it and maybe show it at the Crocker? And I said, well, I'm certainly willing to come over and take a look at it. But I'm thinking in my head, there's no way it's going to show at the Crocker because we're booked way too far out and it's just not going to be possible. And then when he showed me the concept, he showed me some of the soldiers, I thought, well, we have to figure this out. And so we had many incarnations about where would we put it, how would we pull it off, and then I think it was our director, Lyle Jones, said, what about the ballroom? And it just seemed like it was perfect. So we had to move out a few parties, because this is our primary space where we have functions a lot of times. And here it is, and it's so great to have it here now, and I think it's the perfect space for it.
What do you think of him as an artist?
Well, he's not only a wonderful artist, but he's a wonderful artist to work with. And he has such energy that it's like a snowball effect. And he just sort of starts, and you want to help him because he's good and he gets it. And it's just a pleasure.
Great. Wow.
All right, what did you think?
I think this is a fantastic piece of artwork. This is so fantastic, and it's great juxtaposition between the past, the present, and hopefully not the future. I hope those bombs don't represent the future. But it's a great juxtaposition, and I hope that our children get an opportunity to see this and learn and feel about the past, the present, and the future. Thank you.
That's good. It's perfect. Thank you. So, what did you think of the exhibit?
I think this is just fabulous to have this type of caliber art here in Sacramento. We are very fortunate to have this artist here today.
And what do you think about the art that you see? What does it say to you?
I think it's magnificent in the sense that it has so much emotion. It has the daunting and haunting effect of the missiles and the people who are just facing in a certain direction. And there's some type of mysticism, at least I think, to me. And it just gives me an impression of the fact, where is humanity going? Where is our future? And that's what the art is conveying to me at this point.
Mankind has reached the stage in which we have to wake up and to make the choice. Otherwise, years of tragedies will continue until what was predicted by Einstein becomes reality. I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. Site 2801 is my effort to provoke viewers to think about war and deliberate their options, for I believe there is still time to make changes.
All terracotta soldiers 2,000 years ago. Our contemporary soldiers is now. Nuclear bomb with even the baby inside. You have found from your imagination or from your experience. This is first point. And the second point, how to use clay to make small figures, how to build up and put foundation, so can standing up, the head, chest, hip, and so head.
Site 2801 is an impressive installation by Gong Bin, a Chinese artist who now lives in Sacramento. It is one of the largest installations ever mounted at the Crocker. Site 2801 makes a dramatic showing at the Crocker, attracting attention and reporting from the national media. In this massive installation, Shields writes, viewers are asked to become archaeologists of the future by confronting an incongruous and satirical juxtaposition of humanity's past and present. Gong has studied in Luoyang Normal University and Guangzhou Academy of Fine Art, where the main focus was learning realism painting. He buried his memory deep inside, which he needed to release through his art. It was interesting that he accumulated his experience from working in a Guangzhou broadcast station regarding material selection, production control, promotion strategy, that he was not able to learn in an academic setting, laid a technical foundation for his later 4 projects in America. They include Life's Crossroad, Site 2801, Black Hole, and Nations. For Gong, no matter what image comes out from his painting, he wants the audience to see his personality in painting in every stroke of his painting. The exercise of his personality in each stroke is more important than the form of the painting. Dealing with the relationship between sense of form and each ink stroke is his challenge for his transculture adventure. Gong has been through great social transformation in China. He's an experiencer and also a thinker. From China to America, he has witnessed 2 cultures. From his installations, Life's Crossroad, Site 2801, Black Hole, and Nations, to Tai Chi Ink, he experiences 2 different art forms. As an artist, it is fortunate to have this experience. Gong Bin is an artist with the intelligence of a philosopher and the characteristics of a poet. The creation of an artist is to seek his unique way of expression or manifestation of his concept. In the earlier few years in America, Gong Bin has demonstrated in his artwork his search for integrating his background into his new culture. He chose to join with contemporary concepts. His intelligence and perseverance led to his success in this new culture. Gong Yubin is continuously contemplating the truth of Tai Chi in his ink painting. In the state of integration of water and ink, Tai Chi as a concept becomes a direction for the spirit to move. From yin and yang, the world was created. From black and white, movement and silence coexisted. It is the balance between the Tao and the art. It finally is presented as Qi, energy, on paper. Such a scene or expression can only be found in ink painting with Oriental spirit, in which Tai Chi and ink are intertwined and integrated into one. It brings to the audience a natural breath and airflow and the charm of ink expression. I applaud and am happy for Gong Yubin, whose ink painting leaves audiences with the senses of both mastery and tenderness. I hope Gong Yubin continues his ink painting in a variety of possibilities and highly inspired end results. It was only an instant. I ran from a small hill at my backyard to a bigger stage, America. I've been through all pains and obstacles, but I never thought of compromising. I settled down in my heart. No matter my gray hair appeared. Calm in ink, all flourishing past has passed. What's left is the slight fragrance of my ink. So as it is.